What's up, family? How you doing? It's your girl, Dr. Shonna, and I'm here to talk to you guys on Black Friday. That's what they call it, post Thanksgiving. So I want to ask you guys a few questions so I can get a better understanding of where we are at as a community. How far have we gotten in our healing process? Is it getting better for us or is it getting worse? So let me just take this opportunity to say good evening to you all. I'm glad that you all are here. Even though this was a spontaneous live video, I think is a video that is right on time. So with that being said, how many of you guys have celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday? And if so, what have you guys done for Thanksgiving? I want you to ponder on that question real quick. We're going to have a simple conversation. How many of you guys have celebrated Thanksgiving? And if so, what did you do? If you did not celebrate Thanksgiving, what did you do? In the meantime, in between time, I would like you guys to each share this video so we can have a real honest conversation because our community, as always, needs some healing. And I'm starting to sit back and think about the direction that we're going into. And is it better for us as a community or is it getting worse? Is it better for us as a community or is it getting worse? I want to hear from you guys. So here it is. I have this person here. I'm never going to take the time to even pronounce this person's name. However, this person said, I decided not to observe the holiday anymore. I just relaxed. Somebody else said fellowship with family. Someone else says holiday here alone and in peace. I want you guys to all respond because maybe it's just me with what I'm thinking, where I'm going with this conversation today, but I want to share some things with you guys about some of the things I've been noticing, right? But I want you guys to tell me again, what have you guys done for the holiday? If you didn't do anything, I want to know that too. Is it getting better or is it getting worse? Now, here's the thing I'm going to say. Typically speaking, I don't really go out of my way for any of these holidays, typically speaking. You know, as you start to raise your awareness, you start to become disinterested in celebrating these American holidays that are not fulfilling for us as a people, right? And do not always telling the full truth. Now, I'm starting to notice, in my own opinion, now everything I'm going to share here is regarding how I feel, but it may not be how you guys feel, and that's just as good. But I'm starting to notice that even though many of us as a community is becoming, many of us as a community are becoming more woke, so to speak. There is a downside to this all. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, but I want to hear from you guys. There is a downside to this all. Now, let me say this to you guys. Yesterday, in a million years, I decided to have some family members over for Thanksgiving or Indigenous People Day or Slaughter Day or November 24th, November 23rd, just another day, right? I like to look at it as the last part, November 23rd, just another day, where everyone is off and is an opportunity for me to engage with my family members. I decided to have people over because I started to notice some things that are important to me. Now, y'all know, or many of you guys do know, some of y'all don't know, that I am a relationship therapist. I am a couples therapist. I am a relationship expert. And I look at how we engage in relationships, including in families. And I started to see that many of us are breaking down severely in our family units. Is it just me? Now, maybe I'm on an island by myself, and that's okay. I'm okay with being alone. But I started to see from not only the families that I treat, or the couples, I should say, that I treat, but the people that are around me. I started to see that there is a severe breakdown in our family units. And even though we are increasing our consciousness about pagan, as Goddess says here, she says, I don't celebrate pagan holidays, so I just relax. It was just a regular Thursday for me. Even though many of us, including myself, take on that same belief, there seems to be a breakdown in our family units. There's a cost, in my opinion, for being woke. Now, I know, typically speaking, the wokeness should bring with it empowerment, right or wrong. If we are making these changes, if we are making these adjustments, with these changes and with these adjustments, there should become some level of empowerment where we start to improve who we are as a people. We should start doing things collectively as a people and creating for ourselves a new sense of belonging, a new sense of family, a new sense of connecting, a new sense of community. But there's something going on, in my opinion, where that is not happening. It's not. Many people take on that same mindset that I have, that many of you guys have, is that this is a pagan holiday. We are not going to celebrate it. We're going to do our own thing. America has lied to our community, and we're no longer going to partake in the lies of America, and we are going to do our own thing. Am I wrong? We have taken on this mindset and we have followed suit. But when I step back and I start to look at where we are at as a people, I'm sorry, y'all. Now, y'all can come for me. It's okay. We can have a dialogue about this as long as we are respectful. But I don't see how we are collaboratively forming a union together and we are improving our conditions. I don't see it. What I see from my end, from my lens as a relationship expert, now relationship doesn't always mean romantic. It could be siblings. It can be parent-child relationships. It can be friends, co-workers. Relationships are relationships. And what I see from my lens and from my perspective, y'all check this out. There is a lot of breakdown in the relationships around us. It is a breakdown in the relationships around us. Let me tell you how it happened. So typically speaking, I don't do nothing for the holidays. I may go to somebody's house if they're having something, but I'm cool. The only thing that I do traditionally in this household, you can get it guaranteed with me, hands down, is New Year's Eve. You can have a party. You can have a party in my house. I got a full bar in my house. You can have a party in my house. We going to party tonight. We going to party like it's 1990. We're going to have a party. And I'm going to introduce people to each other. I bring in colleagues, I bring in friends, I bring in families, and hell, I'll probably even bring in some enemies or frenemies, should I say, right? But we're going to have a party in my house. That's one thing that I do. But when it comes to the other holidays that I have moved away from, I notice that something is happening within my own family dynamic. Now, I'll talk about myself. I don't know what's going on in your family, but I will talk about myself. And my own family dynamic, people are so woke that they're not even connected. I don't know if y'all catch that. I don't know if you caught it when I put it down, but I'm going to say it again. If it falls, pick it up. People are so woke that they are disconnected from their own families. No one is interested in getting together. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like from my end. No one is interested in getting together. No one is interested in building, connecting. Now, let me tell you something. We don't got to celebrate Slaughter Day. We don't got to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. We don't have to celebrate Thanksgiving Day. We don't have to celebrate November 23rd, 2023. We don't have to celebrate those things. But what is happening in your family unit? How often do you guys all get together as a family? How often do you guys celebrate together as how far you have come through the generations in your family? How often do you guys get together and gather and share pictures about your family, share stories about your family? Make sure that the cousins all know each other, the first cousins, the second cousins, the third cousins. Make sure that the aunties and uncles are all connected. How many of you guys make sure you are intentional about your family units? How often? That's what I learned yesterday, November 23rd, 2023. My children hit me up and they said, Mom, I know you're probably not doing anything, but what are you doing today? And I said, you know what? I was just going to cook dinner for my kids. That's what I said, for my children. If you guys want to come over, have dinner with me. If not, me and Officer Stedman, who is my partner, we're going to be here. We're going to eat dinner together. You guys decide what you want to do. I was just so damn laid back with it. My daughter, who's 25 years old, she said, if it's okay with you, I am going to hit up the family and I'm going to see if it's any one of them who wants to join us. It'd be nice to have family together again. That's when it hit me. That's when it hit me. I said, wow. It was the again part of her statement. It would be nice to have family together again. When my children, I'll talk for myself. You guys can share with me your story. I will talk for myself. When my children were small and I was younger, I had my children in my 20s, right? So my children I'm in my late 40s. My children, they're adults, right? Except for the little one, the little start over, the oops baby is a start over baby, right? Not oops in a bad way. So I know how some of y'all get. He's my joy. He's my light. He's my shining star. But again, I wasn't planning on having any children. It was like, oh God, I'm pregnant. Oh Lord, what we gonna do, husband? It was that kind of situation, right? But nonetheless, when my children were growing up, my mindset wasn't elevated. I wasn't quote unquote woke, right? So I never did Christmas. That's one thing I never did. It's not who I am. It's not my spiritual background. I don't do Christmas, right? My husband did Christmas, and I would allow the children to partake in Christmas with my husband because that was his background, but it wasn't my background, so I didn't do Christmas. But nonetheless, I participated in one shape or another in the holidays. My children grew up with the holidays, right? My children grew up with them being able to wake up on Christmas with their other family members and open gifts. Not with me. You got money from me. I would peel you off a few hundreds, but trees and gifts, it wasn't my thing. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow with trees and gifts, so I was never excited about it. You understand what I'm trying to say? But I didn't rob my children of it. Thanksgiving, same thing. We split. I would either go to my husband's family or he would come to my family, and we alternated every year on how we would do Thanksgiving. And then all of a sudden, Mommy, I'm speaking for myself. I don't know about y'all, but I'm speaking for myself. Mommy became woke. And Mommy eliminated all of that. I eliminated all of that. And with that being said, the emphasis on building together as a family was essentially cut out. COVID made it worse. That's in my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. But in my opinion, COVID made it easier for us to disengage as family, for us to disengage as friends. It just made it easier. We became so accustomed with being isolated. We became so accustomed with being by ourselves that we did not look forward to connecting with our family. Babies were born during COVID. People got together during COVID. People broke up during COVID. COVID brought with it a different realm, a different enemy. And we all fell into it. Thanksgivings didn't happen. Christmas didn't happen. New Year's Eve, well, in my house it happened. We weren't scared of COVID, but New Year's Eve in a lot of people's households, it didn't happen. And as a family unit, I'm speaking about my own family, not your family, but as a family unit, we fell into this pattern of disconnecting. We fell into this pattern of not staying in communication with each other. We fell into this pattern of just staying with our own family unit, hovering with our own family unit, with our own husbands, with our own children. We did our own thing. And we didn't think twice about what was going on with family members. You hear me? It broke down the family unit. So when my daughter sent me the text message, and in that text message, she said, do you mind if I reach out to the other family members? I said to her in that moment, well, go ahead. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And the reason why I said, let's see what happens is because I started to notice within my own family, we broke down so much that if we came together, many of us in our mindset, I can't speak for anybody. I can't. But in my observations, what it seems like if we came together, cool. If we don't, cool. And it just didn't sit right with me. The fact that my child had to say, do you mind if I reach out to other family members? It just didn't sit right with me. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Give me a second. So Miss Abi says, my best friend's cousin wanted to talk with me about politics and policing, and I immediately disengaged from the convo. I was not going to debate with him. I work in LE and registered independent. Now, what is LE? Tell me what LE is, okay? Tell me what LE is. But that's what happens. Somebody said, my family is too messy. Another person says, we are the younger generations just started back our family reunions over the last couple of years. We did family fundraisers all through the year to prepare for this reunion in September and paid for everything. Great. Law enforcement. Got you. Thank you, Mr. B. Law enforcement. And you know I'm in a law enforcement household. I don't know what the hell you were talking about because I disengage. I let my partner do what the hell he do. I don't want to. Don't come to me with no nonsense. Just listen. We a different type of household. Law enforcement, yes, but we a different type of household. Listen, don't lock my people up over no nonsense because then we gonna have a problem. Right? So that's a different type of household. But nonetheless, going back to the conversation, I want to just take that opportunity to acknowledge what some of the people are writing. Going back to the conversation, my 25-year-old said, do you mind if I reach out to the family? And you know what was sad? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to speak for myself. What was sad, family, is I didn't even think about my other family members. Not that I don't love them, because I do. Not that I don't care about them, because I do. Not because I don't miss them, because I do. Not because I don't love connecting with them, because I do. I love our dances. I love our games. I love our double dutch. I love everything, our dance contest. I love everything that we do. I love it all. I love my in-laws. I love my immediate family. I love my cousins, my niece, my nephews. I love it all. Don't get me wrong. But I wasn't thinking about reaching out to them. Somebody says here, why would she say, do you mind? Okay, that's an excellent question. I don't mind asking questions as long as it's respectful. That's a respectful question. Some of y'all ask some disrespectful questions and I ignore you. But in that question, it's a very good question. Why would she ask if I mind? Something y'all need to know about me. I pay attention to energy. If the energy is off, I don't want you in my house. That's just how I am. If I feel like your vibe doesn't fit compatibly with mine, I don't want you in my house. I don't want to clean up after people. I don't want people breaking shit in my house. I'm just being honest with you. I got a whole bar and bars are expensive. I don't want you drinking up all my stuff. I don't want to replace the toilet tissue that you use in my house. We are in inflation. Toilet tissue is expensive. I don't want to do that. So when it comes to why would she ask, my daughter knows I am the one, I take after my mama. I am the one that don't have people through my house. Don't come in my house. Don't wear shoes in my house. Don't go on my refrigerator. Don't ask for nothing. Don't go to my bar without permission. I'm that kind of person. So when she said, do you mind? Because she knows I don't like energies in my house. And my house is typically to my children and I. Or should I say my children, my partner? That's what I should say, right? All of us. But my house is for my family. I'm just being honest with y'all. But it doesn't mean I don't love my family. I love to go to their house. So listen, I will bring everything to your house. I will bring liquor to your house. I'll bring food to your house. I'll bring money to your house. I'll help you clean your house. I'm just particular about my household. I'm just that kind of person. If you move a glass and the glass is in the wrong direction, I'm looking at you like, I'm going to put it back in the right direction. If I go into the bathroom after you and I see my towels are off, I'm going to straighten my towels. I like presentation. I'm just that kind of person. So when she asked me, it had nothing to do with my family members. It had everything to do with how her mama operates in her house and how they were raised. Even though my children's rooms, I'm like, good Lord, the cleaning lady's coming tomorrow. Can you clean this goddamn room or at least get it structured? You know what I mean? I'm that kind of person when it comes to my house. So it was an excellent question why she had to ask. But I love the fact that she did ask. But the point that I'm making, right? Somebody said, don't touch that energy, baby. Don't touch my energy. Bye. But the point that I'm making is the fact that my daughter had to ask. It reminded me as a family, we have fell off. With all this awokeness that we all have as a community, we have fell off as a family. Our family holidays used to look a lot different. And listen, what I noticed is my auntie and them, they're all older. They're like 60, 70 years old. They're all older. And really, technically, if we are passing the torch, those of us who are in our 40s and our 50s, we should be picking up the torch for our children. But many of us are not. Why? So I decided I want to come on and I want to talk to my community because I want to know how many of y'all family members have not passed the torch. How many of y'all, or is it just my family? How many of y'all are not picking up the torch and leading with the traditions that we had? This has nothing to do with the holidays, in my opinion. You can change your mindset about the holidays. You are entitled to that. I've changed my mindset. I can care less about the holidays, but family is something completely different. How many of us in our families, how many of us have failed to pass the torch? Kimberly says, I feel you on bad energy in my home. Some family members want to bring chaos to you. Well, listen, I feel you, Kimberly. I feel you. But listen, family, how many of you guys have failed to pass? So Miss Abi says there's no torch in my family. Fit to Foster says our torch died with Big Mama. There you go. There you go. Somebody else said, Flavor Jane said, it got to the point I was the only one reaching out for years. Eventually, I stopped being the only one. Oh, man. Somebody else, Goddess Yamaya says, yeah, my mom generation dropped the ball. That's why we trying to pick it back up. Ooh, child. Somebody said, we are too broke to pick up the torch. Ooh, Father. Ooh, that right there, I felt that energy. I felt that energy when I went through my bills and I saw that I spent over $500 for yesterday. I said, oh, shit, we can't do this no more. My daughter better not send me another goddamn text message talking about, can I invite the family? The answer is no. This is for my children. But then I said, no. We ain't going to do that. We ain't going to do that. Let me tell you something. We are dying as a community. Y'all, I'm just trying to tell y'all. Maybe it's in my opinion. Listen, I listen to so many other people's channels and I hear all the empowerment that they are speaking, and we're woke and we're getting together and we're getting better and we're fighting the powers that be. We're fighting supremacy. We're doing so many other good things. I hear that, and if it sounds very motivated, but that's like a demigod statement, right? Demigods are created to bring division, all this other stuff. But it sounds like a demigod statement because in all reality, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot to do as a community. And even though there are areas where we have progressed in my opinion, there are so many other areas where we have regressed in. We still have a lot to work, a lot of work to do as a community. Yeah, we may be becoming more woke, but at what cost? At what cost? And I'm not telling you, by far and few, am I telling you that it's not worth it to be woke. It is worth it to be woke. We have become so woke, community, that our families are suffering. And I asked you guys the question because I wanted to see what other people are going to say. And my family apparently is not the only family that is experiencing it. We are becoming so disconnected. How can we survive? How can we fight the powers that be? How can we improve our communities? How can we raise our economic levels? How can we do better as a whole if our family units are disconnected? AS says, in reality, ain't nothing to be happy about. Look at our conditions as a culture. How can we improve as a family unit? How can we improve as a community? How can we improve as a people if we are disconnected at the core? Listen, I totally understand post-traumatic slave syndrome. I totally understand it. I totally understand how there is traumas through the generations and many of our families. I totally understand how the traumas that our grandparents and our grandparents' parents have experienced continuously get passed down to us, and we pass it down to our children. I totally understand it. But how can we get better if we're not even willing to connect as a family? Mr. B says the dysfunction and addiction has been the torch in my family. I stay away from my own mental health and happiness. Our families are breaking down, people. Our families are breaking down, people. Addictions have taken over our family. Heart disease, diabetes, obesity has taken over our families. Poverty has taken over our families. We are becoming so woke, but yet we cannot reduce the ailments that are taking over our families. We cannot reduce the ailments that are dismantling our communities. Abel says, Doctor, I love all you do for us, but I'm convinced that the so-called Black American family is a total lost cause. I don't believe that, Abel. I understand why you are there, but I don't believe that, Abel. I think that all creation first starts in the mind. And the minute we start to see each other as a lost cause, we're less dedicated to help one another. And maybe, Abel, that is the problem. Maybe we're seeing our family members as lost causes. Maybe we're seeing our family members as chaos. We're seeing our family members as stress. We're seeing our family members as so many other negative things that we're not interested in even taking a stance with helping our family to increase. Maybe it's not about helping our family to increase, but it's about healing our families. There is a big difference. And maybe as a community, we're not healed. Maybe all this wokeness that we're doing, we're still sick. What good is it to increase your mindset when it comes to your community? What good is it to be empowered to take a stance against these holidays, these American pagan holidays that come up? What good is it to take a stance about all the injustice and the supremacy that we have to deal with day to day? What good is that if your family unit is still breaking down? What good is that if it's bringing disconnection and contempt in your family? 116 Harlem 247 says, how much talking can we do before giving up? But what does that look like? Listen, Harlem. Here's what I'm saying to you, Harlem. If you should choose to give up, that is your business. It is not for me to tell you what you're doing is right or wrong. Okay, there's no right or wrong. But what I want you to think about, Harlem, because this is about a critical thinking conversation, right? What I want you to think about is, what are the consequences for giving up? You can give up all you want, but what are the consequences when you give up? What happens? I can tell you that if I was to give up on my family and turn my nose up to my family and walk away, I give up so much. I don't know about you, Harlem, but me, I give up so much. Regardless of whether my family is imperfect, perfect, or whatever, I give up so much. I give up generations of knowledge. I give up connections. I give up knowing your family tree, your family dynamics. I give up cousins growing up with each other. I give up the beauty that I have, where I can go to a family function and there's 4 to 5 generations present. If I cut it off and I stop participating in that, my children do not get to know that this is their second, third, fourth, fifth, or even sixth cousin. My children don't get to know that. I think that's a dangerous road to walk down, in my opinion. I want my children to know where they are from. I want my children to understand who their grandmother is, who their grandfather was, who their great-grands are. I want my children to know their first cousins, their second cousins, their third cousins. I want my children to know these things. I want them to know that you have a family that supports you and loves you. But what scares me also often is so many people in our community, we don't look generations ahead. We don't say that it's important for us to know our family members. You know what it reminds me of? I'm going to be honest with y'all. Right? That's right, Edna. Edna said cousins not knowing each other is very sad. Let me tell you. When I went to my cousin's husband's birthday party, we took a family picture for the family members that were there. It was for his birthday, so his side of the family was heavy. But we showed up for my side of the family. Of course, his family too. We love our in-laws. But we showed up to support my cousin. But I'm saying my cousin, But my cousin isn't my aunt or uncle's child. You understand what I'm trying to say? My cousin is my aunt's cousin's child. My aunt's cousin is my second cousin. His child is my third cousin. My children were her fourth cousins. And one of my fourth cousins had a baby, so there was a fifth cousin present. There was 5 generations at that birthday party. Do you understand how powerful that is? Do you understand how powerful it was for me to tell my children, this is your cousin, this is your cousin, this is your cousin, that was so powerful for me. For me. It was powerful because whether it was my third cousin or my fourth cousin, we all operated like we were first cousins. That's how powerful it was for me. So when my daughter said to me, do you mind if I invite the family? I realized at that moment, my children need and want to know their cousins. They want to know their family. And believe it or not, these are cousins that live a town or 2 over that we don't even see. A town or 2 over that we don't even see. So many people are so comfortable with being by themselves. Oh, my cousin is this, my family is that, my auntie is that. When my aunt died, when my grandma died, when this, I understand that. But that doesn't mean that you cannot pass the torch. Let me tell you something, I'm out of here. Edna says, when the older cousins are mad at each other, it changes the game all around. Edna, what does that mean? When the older cousins are mad at each other, it changes the game all around. What does that mean, Edna? I don't know what that means, but I will tell you this much. My older cousins are old. They're old. You got to think about it. I'm in my late 40s. I'm knocking on 50's door. I can't wait for 50, y'all. I'm going to tear my ass up when it comes to 50. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to have some fun. I can't wait till my 50s. But my older cousins, which are my auntie's first cousins, they're in their 60s and 70s. The torch has to be passed. The torch has to be passed. And the thing is, my generation and our children's generation are not interested in carrying the torch. We have taken on, with all due respect, our oppressor's mindset. Now, listen. I'm only telling y'all my truth. This is the views and opinions of myself. Y'all can see however you want to, but in my truth, our oppressor, their family, their generations, their ancestors, they're very separate people. Very separate people. See, Thanksgiving for many of their families do not include second, third, fourth, or even fifth cousins. Usually it's the nucleus family, right? It is the main hub and their partners and their children. That's the main hub. And I'm starting to notice many of us in our community have taken on that mindset. We want to do things without anybody else. We don't want to invite our extended family members. We don't want to invite our aunties, our cousins, our grandmas. We do our own goddamn thing. And we raise our children in that kind of environment. So what happens when you do this year after year after year, and your children don't know their cousins? What happens when they become adults? What happens when they start to have children? How do they then introduce their children to the family? Listen, I'm not saying being woke is not a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But there's a price. There's a price to pay when you're so woke that you fail to connect. There's a price to pay when you're so woke that you're disconnected. There's a price that we're paying. You got to step back. Well, I had to step back. I'll speak for myself. I don't know about y'all. But I had to step back. And I had to look at what a lot of my clients are coming to me and they're telling me. A lot of our community members are so disengaged from their family units. They don't see the benefit in being connected with their family units. And the lack of family connection, it spirals out of control. We start to disconnect from one another, which ultimately destroys our family units and our connections. We have cousins that don't even know each other. So many of us are not even big on family reunions. We don't even celebrate holidays together. See, it's one thing not to celebrate the holiday, is another thing to be separated. We don't even replace it with anything. Am I the only one that thinks that way? Let me take some questions. Beverly says, I totally understand. My mother passed away 16 years ago. And my youngest brother and I didn't speak for 16 years. It wasn't anything that I did, but he just shut down. My father didn't raise my siblings and I, so we don't know his side of the family. So my children grew up without grandparents and cousins, aunties, and uncles. I've always felt alone because our family is so small, and now we're struggling to regain relationships. You see that? You see that? Beverly, I want to say to you that you are not the only one, Beverly. There's a lot of families that have broken down so much. And listen, COVID did not make it easier. We have become so accustomed to being isolated. We're so okay with staying by ourselves. We don't see the value in building a family tree. We don't see the value in family reunions as we once did. I don't even see those kind of pictures coming through my timeline anymore. And there's something that's happening. Our matriarchs and our family, our elders are dying. They're dying. Some of them dying way too soon. My mother, like you, Beverly, is deceased. My mother passed away in 2011 from cancer. And you know something? My mother was somebody who never went out. She never went out. After my father, she never engaged in another man. We were raised with just my mother in the home. And my mother didn't see value in connecting that much with other people. She was very private. She didn't let people in her home. Her children were her life. And when my mother passed away, I started to notice my brother and I, our connection started to dwindle. My bonus sister and I, our relationship started to dwindle. Not because we're mad at each other, because we're not, but because my mother was the glue that held us together. And when mommy got sick, we all showed up. When mommy wanted us to come over and she wanted her kids to be there and she was going to cook dinner, we all showed up. But when mommy died, no one put an emphasis or a level of importance or urgency on how we connect with each other. My grandmother, Beverly, is 98 years old. My grandmother is still alive. My grandmother still lives in the same housing projects that my mother delivered me in. She has the same 2-bedroom apartment in the same housing projects that my mother delivered me in the back room. That's what we call it, the back room. Like the upper room is the back room. My mother gave birth there. My grandmother was her midwife. She delivered me. 98 years old, still lives in the same place. She'll be 99 through the grace of God in July, should God bless her life. She'll be 99 years old. And she no longer can cook how she used to cook. In fact, many of us won't even allow her to cook. She doesn't even come to holidays anymore. But what she says all the time is, I want you guys all to get together. When I go there and I tell her, oh, my cousin so-and-so, who is my third cousin or my fourth cousin, oh, they was at my house or we was hanging out. We talked. She's so excited about that. She said, that's good. I want y'all to know each other. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to say this and I'm out of here. I like to connect with a lot of different types of people. And do you know, many people outside of the Western world, do you hear me? Many people outside of the Western world, i.e. America, they know their family dynamics. They know their grandparents. They know their great-grandparents. They know where they came from. They still connect. Do you know that some people, when they come to this country from other countries, i.e. the motherland, Africa, they will marry their cousin, not to have sexual relationships with their cousin, but they will marry their cousin to bring their cousin into the land. And because they are the only people that they have over here, they stay connected. And then they make sure all their children go to the same schools together. They eat together. They do different things together. They make sure they stay connected. That's what we used to do as a people. I'm talking about my own family. I don't know what y'all do, but that's what we used to do as a people. And for some reason, right? That's why Sergeant King, he said, elders are praised everywhere else. For some reason, we lost that reverence. We lost that respect. Somebody said that's illegal. Listen, whether it's illegal or not, they're not marrying their cousins for the sake of having children, but they're marrying their cousins to get the money. We know it's illegal, right? We know by the American standards it's illegal. What I'm saying to you is family is everything for them. Family is essential. Keeping the family together is essential. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to argue whether it's illegal or not. A lot of people do illegal things. Americans do illegal things. A lot of people do illegal things. I'm not here to argue whether it's illegal or not. I'm not here to argue whether it's right or wrong. What I'm saying to you is, staying connected to family is essential. It is important. Family members are to pull each other up. Family members are to support each other. Family members are to build with each other. That's critical. And every other culture knows it's critical. But it seems like it's dying down in our community. Once upon a time, we were all we had. Once upon a time, even if we weren't related, we were related. Come on, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Even if we were unrelated, we were related. But now, we turn our nose up to our families. We don't want to deal with them. We see things that have happened in our past and we can't let go of it. Oh, I don't like her attitude. She's too this. I don't like his attitude. He's too that. Oh, this person thinks they're better than him. Oh, this person is ghetto. This person is gangster. Oh, this person's chaotic. Oh, this person is problematic. We got something to say about everybody in our family. And do you not know or understand that without your family, you are in trouble? People say to me, you know something? I can care less about my family. My family is problematic. My family is destructive. My family is ghetto. My family is gangster. All these things about your family, but guess what? Do you know your friends will turn on your behind too? Do you know all this praise you give to strangers? You really out there on your own. You make one bad move, you ain't gonna have your friends, baby. You better trust and believe. You better trust and believe. But we can't see it. I understand that some of my family members are very interesting people. I understand we all have that one family member. We scratch our head like, good Lord. Is everyone leaving yet? What time is it? This whole damn event is over. We all have that family member. But I don't know about you. I don't know about y'all. But let me tell you something. For you not to know or engage with your family members, that's a dangerous fleet to be in. Because I have experience in life. This is me, not y'all, for me. I have experience in life that friends would turn on your behind super fast as well. If you start excelling past your friends, they'll turn on you. If you start having success in your love life, they will turn on you. If you start doing well with your children, they will turn on you. See, we're so quick to get rid of our family under the premises that our friends are better until our friends turn on them. Somebody said, Prognosis said, my family is there for me and I don't appreciate them as much as I should, Doc. Thank you. Thank you. I'm telling you, it's the same thing. But sometimes I start to feel like some of us, we get beside ourselves and our family members. We start to just look at the negative aspects of our family member. Oh, I don't like her opinion. I don't like her behavior. I don't like his attitude. I don't like her children. I don't like his car. I don't like their house. We start to look at all these things that convince us to disconnect from our family members. And then next thing you know, we find ourselves alone. The holidays, we're alone. Birthdays, we're alone. Summer vacations, we're alone. Everybody around us are doing things with their family. People having family reunions, birthday parties, graduation parties, baby showers. They got their family there. And then all of a sudden, we are by ourselves. And we want to look at what everybody else is saying. We say, oh, I wish I had a family like that. Now, that might be true for some of us, but for some of us, we created the disconnection in our own families. So somebody says, Sergeant King says, how about when the family kick you to the curb? Are you supposed to kiss their butts? Sergeant, I can't tell you what to do with your family. I understand that all of us have different family dynamics. I understand that sometimes some of our families are more challenging than others. I understand that. What I'm asking you, Sergeant, is if you refuse to reconnect and have conversations with your family where you can repair the injuries, where you can repair the hurt. If you refuse to do that, Sergeant, and you have children, how are you developing your children's knowledge of their family? That's what I'm asking you. Do your children know their cousins, their third, fourth, fifth cousins, their family dynamics, their tree, or do they only understand their family through your lens and through your dynamics? If your dynamic is your family ain't no good, I don't want you talking to them, and that's what you instill in your children, what happens then? We all have family members, relationships, friends, co-workers, and employers that treat us like crap. We all have that. If you cut everybody off in the world, who are you left with? If you say you talking about your whole entire family, your whole entire family is toxic, from the auntie to the uncles to the grandma to the cousins to the kids, and you're the only one that's healthy? Is that what you're telling me? Because maybe you telling me that, and maybe that is the truth. I'm just trying to understand it. Is everybody else toxic and you the only healthy one? Victoria says, I have mental illnesses, so family really come near. So I live in my own world. I was always odd anxiety-filled child. Oh, family is just a scam. I make bad move. I'm committing suicide. Family is a scam, Victoria? So you're gonna take your life because you blaming it all on your family? Is that what I'm hearing you? I'm just trying to understand. I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, Victoria. I'm really trying to understand. Are you telling me that if you were to take your own life, it's because your family's fault? I just need to understand it. I'm not saying that you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. But how it reads to me is that family's a scam. Ain't no real such thing as family. That's how it reads to me. And listen, if I commit suicide, ain't nobody gonna care. Is that what you're telling me? Or is that what you believe? K Ram says yes. They use mental illness to kick people out. I'm dealing with that myself. This is getting into a whole nother realm, but since it is Mental Health Fridays, right? Since it is Mental Health Fridays, this is getting into a whole nother realm. But you saying they use mental illnesses to kick people out. You're dealing with that yourself. So are you saying to me, K Ram, that there aren't behaviors that you have that are challenging to deal with? Is that what you're saying to me? Are you saying to me, K Ram, that you do not at times present as a safety issue to your family? Are you saying that to me, K Ram? Are you saying that to me, K Ram, you are aware that you have a mental illness and your family should just deal with it and should not kick you out? And if that's the case, K Ram, what are you doing to work on your mental illness since you are aware of how you're showing up? What are you doing? Are you taking medication? Are you going to therapy once, twice, 3 times a week? Are you doing all that you can do to get control over your mind? Are you learning how to manage and control your emotions? Are you doing all that you can do and then your family is just being mean and kicking you out? Or are you presenting in another way? Miss Saunders says, I have a cousin that have a mental health problem, but he was my best cousin until we grew apart. That's what happens quite often. It's not the mental illness in and of itself. It really isn't. It's not the mental illness in and of itself. There are a lot of people with mental illnesses or mental disorders. But are we saying that we are to wreak havoc and then that family members should just automatically deal with it? Maybe we are saying that. I'm asking questions. I'm making no assumptions. I'm asking questions. Are we saying if we have a mental illness and we are wreaking havoc, where we are causing chaos and we are threatening our family members and causing a disturbance, we're not watching, we're not working, we're not doing what we need to do productively, we're not going to therapy, we're not taking medications, we're not doing our part, that family members should not kick us out? That's what we're saying? And I'm not saying that family members should or should not. I'm just asking a general question. So K-Ram is asking, do people with mental illnesses wreak havoc? Can we make that general statement to all people? I think that was a question that was amidst a whole bunch of other questions. It wasn't a question that was a standalone question by itself. But since you asked that question, we can go ahead and answer that question, K-Ram. Some people do. So how can you say, do people with mental illnesses wreak havoc? It's not one mental illness. There are multiple different types of mental illnesses. True, K-Ram? True. There are multiple different types of mental illnesses. Is there not? And some mental illness can be managed and controlled by medication and consistent therapeutic intervention. And do all people choose to take medication, K-Ram? Do all people choose to go consistently to mental health intervention? right? So that's right, K-Ram. Different characteristics for all. So we can't ask that question as though we presume that some people don't wreak havoc. Some people do. Some people know that they perform better on medication, but yet they refuse to take medication because they feel that it's going to do something for them. So they're making a conscious decision not to take medication. Some people, we're not talking about all, they're making a conscious decision not to take medication, and then they spiral out of control. Does that not happen, K-Ram? Huh, K-Ram? I'm just having a dialogue with you. Does that not happen? Listen, K-Ram, I work with a community of schizophrenics. So K-Ram, you're making this about you? K-Ram said, I went to psychologists and they said nothing's wrong with me. So you're making this about you. So you can take your anecdotal experience and you cannot apply it to all people. There are some people, listen, K-Ram, I work with a population of schizophrenic people. And I have some people, schizophrenics, who decided that they don't want to take medication because they believe that the medication is programmed by aliens outside of this world. And if they take the medication, the aliens are going to tap into their thinking. They're not going to be able to control their thinking. And they're going to take over their body. And then the aliens is going to cause them to do bad things. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you a real life case, K-Ram. And so for that reason, this one person in particular chooses not to take medication because they don't want the aliens to take over their mind. This person is not in jail. Why is this person in jail? Because this person decided to open up a can of whip ass on police officers and act up and throw bodily feces all over the place and act a fool. And now this person is in jail. And then when I do my visits with this person in jail, this person is now on medication. This person is now in treatment and they're coherent and they can speak to me in a coherent manner, and it makes a lot of sense, and they can express things freely, and they're no longer in their elusive thoughts or their ruminating thoughts. They're more grounded. They're more able to understand reality where they are at. They know where they're at. They understand the court system. They're doing it because now they're under medication by force. They're under medication by force. And so now their mind is a little bit more coherent, K-Ram. So are you telling me that scenario I just gave you, K-Ram, that person doesn't wreak havoc in their own lives and in the community that they live in? They wreak havoc, K-Ram. They wreak havoc. Right, K-Ram? They do. They do. Sonia said everyone needs support, but not everyone takes support, Sonia. See, this is what we have to think about as a family. Sonia said everyone needs support. Not everyone takes support. That's right, K-Ram. Not everyone is schizophrenic. I will not say it's schizo because that's harmful and hurtful to the people who suffer from schizophrenia. Not everyone is a schizophrenic, K-Ram, and not everyone has your mental illness. You understand? So you cannot speak for all people that are mentally ill. And the one case study that I gave you that is real cannot speak to everybody who's mentally ill. You understand what I'm saying? So we can't say, do they wreak havoc? Because K-Ram, some people do wreak havoc. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Sonia says everybody needs support. Yes, Sonia, but not everyone takes support. You see how this works? You see how this works? Everyone needs support, but not everyone takes support. You see how this all comes together? Listen. I love every one of you guys. I'm going to get out of here right now. I just want you guys to know that as a community, in my opinion, the family units are breaking down. We are so committed to being in our own world and disengaging from one another. And I don't know if this is making us better as a community. I really don't see us becoming better as a community. That's what I think. I think that the more we become so woke, the more disconnected we are as a people, that we're not moving together and doing things together. We're not loving on each other. We're not building each other. We're not making sure our family units, our foundations of our family are strong. That's problematic. When we continue to disengage from each other and create distance and space with each other, we are breaking down our family units. When we continue to operate in silos, meaning we're disconnected from everybody else, we continue to break down our family units. Are you willing to rebuild your family unit? Are you willing to rebuild your family union? Are you willing to rebuild your family union? Or are you saying this is what it is and I'm not interested in rebuilding it? So if it breaks down, it breaks down. I'm all good. My kids are good. I'm good. We all good. And I don't need my family. Do you have that mindset? I don't know. But I'll say, as for me, in my house, when my daughter, who is 25 years old, when she asked me, do you mind if I invite the other family? And I said, go ahead, by all means, I will host them. When I said that, I'm glad that she noticed that she misses her family, because many people like me, we can live in silos. We can live in our own little world, do our own little thing. We don't have to connect with anybody. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the right way to go about it. I want my children to know their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth cousins. I want them to know it. I want my children to know that beyond our household, there is a greater family outside that exists that loves you and wants to connect with you. And yes, my children have to navigate good energy and vibes from bad ones. And yes, family can have bad vibes, but it doesn't mean because a family member or two, or maybe even three, have a bad vibe, it doesn't mean that the whole damn family gets cut off. I think in order for us to heal the generational trauma that we are experiencing, we have to heal our families one generation at a time. That's what I believe. We have to heal our family, our generations. We have to heal our families one generation at a time. Understood that, yes, maybe me saving my grandmother and healing her at 98 years old, maybe that ain't going to happen, right? But I do notice my grandmother softening up in some areas. I do notice that she's not making comments like, why do you have those things in your hair? No one's going to hire you. You shouldn't look like that. Oh, don't do your lips like that. Your lips are too big. And y'all know my lips are not big whatsoever. But that's what my grandmother says, right? And I understand that that comes from her background. I understand that comes from her dynamics and her generation. I understand that self-hatred is major in her dynamics. But I've also taught my grandmother boundaries. I won't get into that today, but I have taught my grandmother boundaries because I'm not going to entertain hurtful conversations. I will end the visit all the way together. And I also have learned that my grandmother has learned how to tailor her language when she's talking to me. Some things I let her get away with because I know it comes from her generation, and some things absolutely not. We're not doing certain things because it's unhealthy. And I don't just get up and walk away. I let her know why I'm ending the conversation, why I'm ending the visits. That is hurtful. You're saying things like that and you don't want to change, right? So what I'm saying to you all is, just because there are things that happen in my family that are hurtful and frustrating, it doesn't mean I throw out the baby with the bathwater. It doesn't mean I just totally walk away. You have to learn how to create boundaries within your family. You have to know how to heighten the communication, bring certain topics to the forefront and dialogue about it. You have to learn how to do these things if you're going to heal as a family unit. I know my family all appreciate being connected as first, second, third, fourth, and even fifth generation. I know we all appreciate that connection, but there is some damage that has been done that needs to be that needs to be healed. And you do not heal damage by running away. So even though we choose not to celebrate some of these holidays that we are in, and that's okay, we have to recognize that some things cause us more harm than good. You can be woke all you want, but if your children don't know their cousins, their second, third, fourth cousins, if you don't even know your family members, there's a problem. If you can't build your family tree, there's a problem. If you're walking away from people left and right and there is no correction, there's no healing, there's a problem. Whether you want to agree with it or not, it's a problem. If you feel like, I don't need anybody, you can just cut everybody off, it's a problem. If you decide that you ain't going to show up and then you want people to show up for you, it's a problem. That's all I have for y'all. Somebody says, so that's a problem also. Hurt people, hurting people. Most people can't handle that. It's a problem. It's a problem. Why is that interesting, Abel? When I said I won't entertain hurtful comments, I will get up and walk away. Laugh out loud, interesting. Why is that interesting? I don't know why that's a laugh out loud and it's interesting. Perhaps you can share your thoughts with me so I can better assist you in understanding what that means to be able to set the boundaries. So maybe you're not able to do it, but I'm able to do it. I'm able to not entertain hurtful comments. So, I mean, if you're still here, Abel, and you want to share that, I'm more than welcome to engage in that conversation with you. But I think that people should learn how to set boundaries. And the problem is, Abel, in my opinion, many people don't know that boundaries is for you. Boundaries is not for the other person. So if I get up and I'm walking away, I'm getting up and I'm walking away, not because I'm trying to deliver punishment to the other person, harm or hurt to the other person. That has nothing to do with it. If I get up, Abel, and I walk away, it's because I've set a boundary that says that my mental health cannot take hurtful comments. And I'm removing myself from hurtful comments. So I don't know what's laugh out loud interesting about that. I don't know what's funny about that. But if you're subjecting yourself to hurtful comments, that's only going to make you feel angry and is going to interrupt your whole day, then maybe you have work to do. And I'm not saying that you feel that way, Abel. I'm just saying maybe you have work to do if you are going to subject yourself to nasty comments that make you feel bad. Oh, okay, Abel, great. Abel saying I laugh because that's part of what I've been saying all night. I get up and walk away. Absolutely. We got to set the boundaries. Boundaries is not for the other person. Boundaries are for us as the individual. And see, the thing is, so many people try to put boundaries on other people. They try to put boundaries because they're attempting to change another person's behavior. I'm not trying to change nobody's behavior. You can talk reckless all you want. I don't got to listen. That's the difference. You could say all types of crazy things all you want. I don't have to listen. You could talk about me poorly all you want. I don't have to listen, and I don't have to respond either. I'm not going to give somebody that kind of power over me. I'm going to set the boundaries. I'm going to separate and I'm going to walk away. It's just as easy as that. Right? Somebody says, I set boundaries and stick to them. Some individuals can't handle when you don't lower your standards. Oh, many of them cannot. Boundaries means that I'm doing something differently. And when you do something differently, people will always have an emotional outburst to it. But you got to ride that wave, baby girl. You got to be able to say, let them people have them outbursts, and I'm going to keep on moving no matter what. People say things about me crazy every day. People do things every day. I don't respond to people's craziness. Right? Every now and then I might lose my cool because I'm human. Every now and then I might cuss somebody's ass out because I'm human. But then I regather myself and I say, you know something? It ain't worth it. Let me just move on. Let me mind my business because it has less to do with me and has more to do with the other person. We have to understand that. But at the end of the day, the lesson that I'm driving home is family is everything. And if you are not building your family unit, if you are not taking care of your family, if you're not ensuring the generations after you know who their family members are, you're doing it all wrong. You're doing it all wrong. I don't care how woke you get. Your family is your family. And that family tree is essential for so many reasons that I'm not going to get into tonight. So I want you guys to know that you have to heal your family. You have to heal the hurt and the harm that is there. You have to heal. I'm not saying put yourself in danger. I'm not saying to put yourself in a position to be re-abused or sexually abused or physically abused, mentally abused. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is, if you're choosing to just totally walk away from your entire family, I think you have some inner work to do. That's all I'm saying. If you're walking away from your entire family, second, third, fourth cousins, auntie, uncles, grandma, grandpas, if you're choosing to walk away from your entire family, I believe you have some work to do. That's what yesterday, November 23rd, has taught me, that we as a family, we have some healing to do, because clearly we have taken walking away from each other to the next goddamn level. We are taking it to the extreme. We're all in our own little silos. We're doing our own little things. We're nurturing our own children and our grandchildren. For those of us who have grandchildren, I yet to become a grandma. When I become a grandma, I'll be happy. Hopefully my children are established. I don't want to raise nobody's children. I will if I have to, but I don't want to. I'm just saying. Some of my family members are already grandparents, and they have taken to their own little silos. And I just think about those babies that are not going to know their second, third, fourth, fifth cousins, and they're going to be growing up disconnected from their family units. That's not safe. That's not emotionally safe. That's not mentally safe. That's not physically safe. But who am I to judge? That's just my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave your comments in the comment section. For those of you guys who are here, I love every one of you all. Have a blessed night.